Yeah. Now, I want to get to record predictions for next year. I'm going to go first. I think that the Packers are going to go 11-5 next year. I hope we go 16-0 and win the Super Bowl in the process. I hope that happens, but it's not probably going to happen. But either way, as a Packers fan, I think that realistically, best case scenario, probably about 12-4. Worst case scenario, probably 9-7. You know, we like I was talking about earlier, and you kind of attribute to this as well. We didn't really lose a whole lot of talent, but did we get a whole lot better? And this schedule is very tough, Tom. I gotta say, it's a tough schedule, and we play a lot of good quarterbacks. You know, Aaron Rodgers, is he gonna be, ticked off by Jordan Love? I don't think so personally, but again, that could be a possibility. So I think that 12-4 is the best case scenario, 9-7 is the worst case. And again, I was winning 11 games. We were a 13-win team last year. We still have a pretty good pass rush with Zadarius and Preston Smith. Kenny Clark is a very underrated player that no one talks about. That is just a stud. Secondary is pretty solid. We have a very good run game with Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, and Jamal Williams are pretty good compliments. Devontae Adams is a stud, top 5 wide receiver in football. Our offensive line is pretty steady. I'm not going to call it elite, but it's definitely not terrible. It's above average, I would say. Now, as far as Aaron Rodgers goes, I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to have a pretty darn good season, and I'll tell you why. First of all, it's his second year in the Matt LaFleur offense. I think that last year, he did a pretty good job, adjusting to a new system, with new play calls, being more of a run-happy offense, more play action. It was an adjustment for Aaron Rodgers. He usually was in the shotgun a lot. He was running the show with Mike McCarthy. I think in the second year of a new offense, he's going to be better. We added Devin Funchess. I think that's a very underrated signing. I expect Marquez Valdes-Scantling to break out this year. I'm hoping he does. And honestly, I think the MVS can only go up from here. He had a disappointing season last year. And if Marquez Valdes-Scantling doesn't play very well this year, I mean, it could be pretty much the end of his, really solid career in Green Bay up to this point. So I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to come out with a chip on his shoulder, especially after the Packers drafted Jordan Love. I could just see Aaron Rodgers just putting the team on his back, being ticked off with a chip on his shoulder and saying, hey, NFL, I'm still here. And I look at our division. Minnesota's lost a ton of talent. They did draft very well, but they still have a lot of holes to fill, a lot of young players in a shortened training camp. That could be a concern. I think Detroit's going to be improved, but I think that around 7 to 8 wins is their ceiling. They could be as bad as a 4-win team. So Detroit's Detroit. And honestly, I don't believe in Chicago. I think their offensive line is a question. I don't love their wide receivers. Their wide receivers are solid, but they don't have a Devontae Adams. The defense is okay, but they had a great defense last year. And Nick Foles, he could be an upgrade over Mitch Trubisky, but, I mean, he's kind of a one-hit wonder in Philadelphia. I look at our schedule. It's a very tough schedule, and I would not be shocked if I'm wrong about 11-5. I started to go 10-6, but I think that Aaron Rodgers, with that added chip on his shoulder, adds about one more win to our season. At the Vikings, I think that's a win. It's week 1. We're going to come out. They have a lot of young players. We're going to shock some people in Minnesota, I think. Detroit's a win at home. At New Orleans is a loss. Falcons is a win. Bye week at Tampa Bay. I think they're going to be pretty good this year. I have that as a loss. At Houston, after losing a game versus Tampa Bay, we barely beat Houston. I think that Minnesota, by about week 8 or 9, is going to be more implemented with their system and their new players. I think that we actually lose that game. At the 49ers, if it was if we were coming off a bye potentially, or if it was a full week to prepare for that defensive line, I would give us the win potentially, but they're a bad matchup. I have that as a loss. Jaguars is a win. At the Colts is a win. They have a solid team, but I don't believe in Philip Rivers. I was winning that game. Chicago's a win. Philly's a win because we get them at home. At Detroit's a loss. I think that they played us tough last year. It's a division game. We'll see what happens, but I think that's a loss. Carolina, Tennessee, Chicago, 3 straight wins to end the year. I think that at Chicago is going to be a W. I just don't believe in their team this year. So I have 11-5. What are your thoughts? You can pull up the schedule if you want. You can, reflect on my record. What do you think is a realistic expectation? And how many wins do you think the Packers are going to get next year?
Yeah, I think 11-5 is pretty in line with it. I think the toughest games, obviously, are going to be, the Vikings. They always play us pretty seasonally tough. The Saints game will be tough. The Bucs game will be tough. The 49ers game, and then the Titans game, I think, will be difficult as well. And then on top of that, you can always have like the Bears and the Lions pull one off, and win one of those games. And even the Eagles, I think, could be difficult. So yeah, I think like worst case scenario, you're looking at like a 9-7 team. But I think 11-5 is kind of like right in the middle of the road of where I see them going. But again, they could also surprise. And if we sweep the division again, that's another win right there, and that's like a 12-4. I'm not completely sold on the Buccaneers. I know a lot of people are crowning them already, but I'm not like on that bandwagon just yet.
Okay.
So yeah, I think a 12-4 season, but 11-5, I think is right where is reasonable.
Yeah, I think that a 10. Anytime you have Aaron Rodgers on your team, who is an elite quarterback in my opinion, still to this day, you pretty much start at 8 or 9, 10 wins. When you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, you're probably, if your team is relatively healthy, gonna win about 9 to 10 games just off their greatness alone. I think the roster is good enough to add about another win or two to that caliber of a team, I would say. So yeah, I think that 11 wins is good. I could see 10-6, but I'm going to go 11 wins. I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to have a great season. The schedule's very tough, but yeah, I think the Packers win the NFC North once again this year, and I think that Tom agrees with me. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.